Hi there and welcome to this video lesson. This video builds upon one of my first videos, which you can see linked up here right now. In that video I explain why it's actually bad for you if you just keep imitating other musicians or learning songs instead of truly internalizing and understanding them. Now in this video I'll give you a step-by-step guide on how to quickly start being creative with music. You'll get 3 different exercises from me that beginners, intermediate and advanced musicians can all benefit from. And thanks to YouTube chapters, you can now also jump ahead. So if exercise 1 is something that is too easy for you or that you've done many times, feel free to skip to the next one. But first, let's talk about the most important reasons why becoming a creative guitarist is so crucial to your musical development. In my opinion, and also based on my experience as a musician and a teacher, it's essential for any musician, especially for those of you who just don't want to play music in a classical orchestra, for instance, to start being creative as early as possible with everything you learn. There are a few key reasons for that. First of all, you get used to learning things not just through imitation, but through true understanding from the very beginning. I've taught so many students who had already played for many years before taking lessons with me, and especially those who only learned through YouTube, books, DVDs or bad guitar teachers often felt the most frustrated. They often felt stuck, played the same things over and over, and never truly mastered anything. And some of them had been stuck like this for decades even. Second, even if you never want to become a famous songwriter or performer, being creative with music is fun. Just look at people who love to paint or draw. Most of them eventually learn how to be creative, not because they want to become professionals, but because it's simply more fun than just copying or tracing what others have done. The same goes for crafters, dancers and decorators. So why should you settle for just imitating others? And third, even if you mostly enjoy covering songs, creative practice will make memorizing songs so much easier. The more you understand about music, the faster you'll be able to break things down. For example, once you understand how to harmonize a scale, that is, how to play it using only chords, you can often figure out a new song just by hearing the first couple of chords. The same also applies to solos and riffs. If you know your scales well and have experimented with them, and if you can visualize the notes on your fretboard, you'll quickly recognize many of the common patterns most guitarists use. That means not everything you learn will feel totally new or even confusing. And fourth, you'd be surprised how meaningful it can be to write a piece of music for either a friend, a family member, or even a romantic interest. I've seen it happen many times. Someone writes a song for a person and the joy it brings is truly something special. So once you're ready, definitely give it a try. Now, before we dive into the exercises, let me emphasize one more thing. Creative skills, just like technical skills, can and must be trained. The more you work on them and the more experience you gain, the better your songs will sound and become. Creativity is not something only a few people are born with. Sure, some might be more naturally talented than others, but trust me, hard work and determination are always more important. I've taught many students who were actually pretty talented but very lazy, but the ones who worked the hardest, they were always the best. Alright, so let's dive right into the exercises. This first exercise is especially good for beginners. Take some of the simplest songs you've already learned well and analyze them. Here are 2 examples. First up, this is the verse section of Dead Flowers by the Rolling Stones. This song only uses 3 chords and a rhythm based on simple 8th notes. If you want to dive deeper into rhythm guitar and understand how to really get the tempo and groove of a song, check out my 3-part series on the topic. Part 1 is now linked above. By the way, the tempo of Dead Flowers is around 125 BPM. Now let's take another super simple song, Knockin' on Heaven's Door by Bob Dylan. What I just played wasn't even the proper version, just a simplified rhythm version many beginners learn at first. That song's tempo is about 65 BPM and the rhythm even includes some 16th notes. If you already know all of this, great. But let's say you can play both songs well enough through imitation, but don't yet fully understand the rhythmic theory behind them. You can still start being creative by simply taking the rhythm from song 1 and using the chords from song 2. To keep it from sounding like a faster version of Knockin' on Heaven's Door, let's rearrange the chord order a bit. Just try it out, keep rearranging the chords and you'll already have created something new, like a verse for instance, or maybe a chorus. You can also add even 1 or 2 extra chords that weren't in either song, maybe an E minor here and there, so... Or take the chords from Dead Flowers and apply the rhythm from Knockin' on Heaven's Door, then experiment with that. Maybe also put them in a different order. These are your first real steps into songwriting, and I guarantee your songs will keep getting better and better the more rhythms and chord combinations you try. And don't feel limited to 3 or 4 chords. Try just 2, or go for 5, or maybe a 3-chord progression that returns to one of the chords midway, like this. Remember, creativity grows with experience. Alright, now here's exercise 2 for intermediate to advanced players. Let's just write some cool riffs without copying anyone directly. Most intermediate guitarists already know pattern 1 of the A minor pentatonic scale. But instead of just soloing with that, pick just a few notes from the scale and try creating a short riff. First without using a metronome or a drum beat. Here's one key rule. A great riff doesn't need many notes. It needs to be catchy and should groove. So start with just a few notes, but really think about the rhythm. But since you're more advanced now, you should definitely also practice with a drum groove. Look for good drum loops on YouTube or use a rhythm drum machine like the Hydrogen drum machine for instance to build your own beats. That alone will give you plenty of inspiration to write cool riffs on a regular basis. Then maybe later on try adding some power chords as well. Or maybe also add some double stops. Or even some open strings. If you keep doing that, you will definitely stumble upon one or several great riffs that you should immediately record on your phone or using your DAW. Moving on to exercise number 3 for song structure and advanced creativity. Now let's talk about stealing, but doing it smart so it doesn't show. First thing, learn as much as you can about song structures. What are intros, verses, bridges, interludes, choruses, breakdowns, and so on and so forth. We live in the information age. With the help of YouTube, you can learn this basic songwriting and arrangement knowledge really quickly. And then listen to some of your favorite songs and just write down their structure. I used to do this with entire albums of my favorite bands to improve both as a producer and an arranger. One tip, check out Aerosmith's albums from the late 80s and 90s. They worked with outside songwriters back then, and you can really hear it in the song structures and arrangements. You'll find radio-friendly rock songs, hit songs even, with amazing structure and flow, but without sounding too overthought or proggy. For example, on one of my older songs with my old band Cunning Mantrap, I took the arrangement from one of my favorite Aerosmith songs and built my own song around it with entirely different lyrics and music. So here's what I did and how I did it. I always loved the Aerosmith song Cimmeriah from their album Permanent Vacation. So this song has an intro that is then followed by a main riff, followed by a verse, the same main riff again, followed by verse number 2, then a chorus that's actually with a halftime beat, which is pretty cool. And then played over the main riff, you'll hear the first guitar solo, which is followed by verse 3, and then yet another chorus, also with a halftime feel. And then you'll have an outro solo that's again played over a part with double time feel, which will eventually fade out. Now try listening to both songs back to back. If I hadn't told you, you never would have guessed. You'll find links to both songs in the pinned comment below this video. So if you've already spent some time on exercises 1 and 2, now try exercise 3 and put everything together. Take your best ideas and write a full original song using a proven structure. And please don't pressure yourself, just get used to working creatively and keep learning about music and music production at the same time. I guarantee this is not just fun, but you'll also see real progress very quickly. Please also let me know in the comments how it's going for you, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel here. There's so much more to discover here, and I'll keep diving deeper into songwriting, rock, blues, and everything in between. So I'll see you in the next video.